You can't handle the truth.
Welcome to Todd's Truth presents Creator Truth. Tonight we have several creators in the back room waiting, and we have a special guest host tonight. And the special guest host tonight is Blue. Welcome, Blue.
Hey, Todd. Hi. Thanks for having me here.
No, good to have you. And then we'll introduce. We're still waiting on one of the creators to get here, so we'll get started with introducing Michael Oden and Dean James from the Embrace.
G'day, g'day.
Hi, Michael. Dean, hello.
Hello, Blue.
Hi, guys. So how are you guys all doing tonight?
Good, mate. Good. How are you, Todd?
Doing okay. It's been a hard day, but been doing okay.
I feel that. I've got here. Let me see if I can. I've got him. He's decided that he doesn't want to go to bed. Hey, James, you want to say hi? No.
Hi, James. He can't hear
Hey, James.
Yeah.
You want to say hi? No. Stranger danger, man.
Sometimes he's all about it. Sometimes he'll come on and say hi and even talk about books and stuff.
Yep. Picks out the coin and everything. Remember last time he wanted you to show off certain things?
Yep.
Oh, that's nice.
He yelled at me.
Yep.
What? He was really mad because I had the Embrace sketch cards from Drew Williams, and he kept like trying to shove them onto the screen. I was like, no, that's not how this works, and he got angry at me. It was on the Adam Post show.
What did I say? Oh, that's funny.
No, Dad, listen. No, Dad, listen.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Isn't this how it works? Nope, that's not how it works. So let's do a little talk so we can wait and see if when Dave gets here. So let me ask you guys. Here's a great question that I like asking people: is what is your favorite comic book character? It can be a villain or it can be a hero. That's why I say character. So, what is your favorite, or who is your favorite?
That's a Pandora's box. Dean, do you got a direct answer right off the top of your head?
Well, yeah. I actually have it all categorized in my head, depending on what we're talking about specifically. But if you just want to talk just generic superhero, like who's your favorite superhero? It's Batman or Spider-Man, depending on the day.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, like you want to talk favorite villain, I have my favorite villains, Joker or Venom. I have my favorite, anti-heroes and stuff like that. Like, it really depends on what you want to talk about. But yeah, I have them all categorized throughout my brain, depending on the topic we're discussing.
Oh, wow. Okay. There you go.
So if we're going to, all right, I'll do two, one villain, one hero. Hero. I'm not repping it right now. I don't know where it went, but Captain America. I usually wear my Captain America hat while I'm on stream. So he's definitely the number one for the hero for me. And then for villain, for Western comics, it would 100% be Magneto.
Oh, Magneto is one of my favorites too. I absolutely love Magneto.
Magneto is probably one of my favorite characters in any medium. But it's really tough.
Yeah, as soon as you said Western, though, I was like, oh, right, because my favorite villain of all time is Frieza. I've actually got Frieza and Vegeta tattooed on my arm.
Frieza.
So, yeah, I can't really.
I'd probably put my top antagonist as Griffith, but
yeah, see. Damn it, manga and anime.
Great things.
Yeah, really. What about you, Blue?
Oh, I was just thinking, I can't remember what I had my head buried in recently. It's like escaping me. It'd be nice if I slept at night. Let's see. When I was reading Attack on Titan, it was Reiner Braun.
I love Attack on Titan.
Yeah, he was one of the interesting ones.
Awesome.
But outside of that, I was thinking, I really liked Wolverine. I ended up liking Wolverine in the mid '90s before they gave his whole backstory and all that.
Before him and Cyclops were in a relationship together.
Yeah, even before that. Way before that.
You mean before he was on every X-Men team ever?
Yeah. So mid '90s when he was on one, the other, or neither, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, So
Yeah.
what's weird is when I first got into the X-Men, I was like, yeah, everybody loves Wolverine, whatever. And it's just, I liked him. It was just better with him around, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Mine, as you can probably see at the top of my desk here, is Hal Jordan,
Nice.
and
Great
my
choice.
villain is Deathstroke.
Deathstroke is awesome. I like Deathstroke.
Is
a good deal.
Deathstroke even a villain anymore, though? I mean, they've kind of
Yeah,
turned him into
no-
an anti-hero as
Anti-hero
well.
now, yeah.
Yeah.
He used to be a villain, but now he's just an anti-hero that whoever pays
Kills.
him the most, he does.
Yeah.
So it's-
Yeah, like that's always his. Like I even got that from when I was reading his older books. Like
Mhm.
He was just a
Deathstroke
merc
has
for hire.
always had a price. Like the only thing that really distinguished him as like a villain was his dynamic with the Teen Titans, because he had a personal grudge and a personal stake in that one.
Yeah, the
But
whole
like in
slave
most of the
thing,
things
yeah.
that like in most of the things that Deathstroke appeared in, even back in the early days, it was whoever threw him the most cash. You're like,
Right.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
'Cause
feel like
I'm-
Batman's hired him multiple times to do that.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that there was a Justice League arc where like effectively what ended up saving the Justice League was Bruce Wayne outbid whoever was
Yeah.
whoever was paying off Slade.
Yep.
That's literally how it went. It was
Yep.
Hey, Pops, welcome.
And Slade
Pops.
and Slade's been hired many times to go after Batman. So
yeah.
Yeah. That's
You know,
true.
I don't think he does it anymore though. I think in the books, like he has a rule now. It's like, yeah, I don't screw with anyone in Gotham. And if you like, you would have to be paying me like 8 figures in order
Yeah.
for me to go to even remotely consider it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a smart man.
yeah, he's like, no, they'll just stay away from that area. That's bad.
That run with I can't remember. I want to call him Price, but that's not his name. Priest. That Priest run on
Christopher
Deathstroke.
Priest was so good.
Yeah.
The Rebirth one.
hmm
Mhm.
Mm.
And you know, I almost said I was trying to avoid saying Superman was my favorite character because you know, but he really is. Only I didn't discover Superman until just a couple of years ago, outside of the films and whatnot. I mean, actually sitting down and reading a Superman comic, you know, it was like, yeah, he's there, but I never understood him. A couple of years ago, I read him because of Tomasi and Jurgens, and wow, I
Jurgens
opened
is
it up and
incredible.
I really said, now I understand my dad better. You know, in terms of like my dad looking up to Superman and seeing him as a hero. It's like, oh,
You get it.
Dad aspired. I get it now. You know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Have you read
I-
All Star Superman?
No.
That is my all-time favorite Superman story.
Good.
Like,
Mm.
I forget
it's a
the
good
tale.
story.
Like, I forget the other one. Odin, what's your favorite one again? Because that's one of my favorites. I just can't remember the title.
So when it comes down to Superman, there's like there's like a short list that
Man
I
of
have.
Tomorrow.
Like,
Man of Tomorrow. That's the
Man
one.
of Tomorrow is really good. Whatever happens to Man of Tomorrow is fantastic. Marv Wolfman recently did one called Man and Superman, which has
Mhm.
become probably my favorite 0-year story of Superman. It's brilliant.
Mhm.
And it is everything that Man of Steel should have been, but I won't go off on that tangent.
Too late.
Then,
But yeah, back to my original point. All Star Superman was a great Superman book.
Yeah.
Definitely
no,
read
that's
it.
what I was. All Star is probably like my go-to. Is like, hey, if you want
Read
to
this,
really,
yeah.
like if you really want to understand why Superman is a fantastic character, I don't think you can get a better story than All Star, because it is a love letter to everything that character is, has been, and will ever be.
Are you guys familiar with Big Al? Was it Big Al, Fan Man, and Professor Geek as a team?
Professor
Not
Geek,
as a
I'm
team.
familiar with. I do not know the other two.
Okay, Professor Geek had sidekicks. Big Al, I don't think has his own channel. I don't know if he does. I'm probably missing out. They don't totally agree. Big Al has. He's a wheelchair bound man, from what I understand, but he's willing to say, you know what? I understand everything you're saying, Professor Geek, about why technically this movie was garbage, but I had fun watching it, and that he knows that just drives Professor Geek through the roof. And then Fan Man has his own channel, which I catch most of, and they're all Superman fans, and they're all pretty insistent about having a good, high quality Superman. So I was just listening this morning to Fan Man talking about how in 2005, in the main comic series, how and why Superman finally essentially was killed off as a character. And it's just they kept changing and dinking with the character. And it was like, man, I don't want to deny what he's saying, but something in me tells me it's true.
You only get good Superman in like one-offs these days because the Superman in main continuity is not that great. Like they've messed with him so much.
That's
Right.
Bendis's fault.
Yes, yeah.
They
argument here.
they actively had people, because New 52 ruined Superman for a long time.
Yeah,
and
sure did.
And then they actively brought in Peter Tomasi and Dan Jurgens to fix the ship, and they did. They really did. They're Dan Jurgens on Action and Peter Tomasi on the Superman main book. Everyone loved those books. Everyone did. And I can see my son is doing acrobatics on the bed behind me. So
part of the death knell was it's Identity Crisis. Not Identity Crisis. Infinite Crisis. I got to go back and re-listen to what Fan Man was saying about how that destroyed things, but allegedly that was really something to pull it down, and then it was just nailed in. Not with, was it Final Crisis? I forget which order they came in. I'm not awake. But yeah, Infinite Crisis apparently really was where it's over, and it's like, oh, okay, because I've been trying to collect Superman from, like, let's say 78 or 77 when they had one minor reboot all the way up through, and I decided my endpoint would be about 2005 when I was looking at what issues are available, and certain issues started and stopped and whatnot, and it looked like beginning of 2005 was the place to stop. So
yeah, it's probably a good place to stop. Yeah, before they completely ruined him.
Did the Superman and Lois, like when they were living on the farm with young John and everything, did that run after 2005? Because I think that's the only Superman in modern day that I've even enjoyed.
No, that was after Convergence, and that was everything.
That was Rebirth and stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was setting up everything with Rebirth. Was when they had the Convergence, and that's when they revealed that pre-crisis Superman had made it onto the New 52 Earth and was living in secret with Lois Lane and raising baby John. And they were keeping everything under wraps.
That was a great story. That was.
Yes,
that was the only Superman I was reading at the time, because I wasn't enjoying anything else running except for, I can't even remember what it was. I think it was Action Comics as well. There was one other Superman that was my second choice for Superman stuff, but that Superman and Lois growing up on the farm with their family and everything, that was great. Like, I really don't have anything negative to say about it at all.
Yeah.
And cool.
Yeah.
The New 52 definitely ruined it. Ruined a lot of things.
Yeah,
that's when I stopped collecting.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all.
I don't blame you.
Reading about that same time as well. I was reading Batman from Court of Owls and stuff, and I was reading Aquaman, the first run where they had the trench and everything as well. That was really good. But pretty much everything else in New 52, and I think most fans agree that it just wasn't that great.
Well, I mean,
you had a couple of hits here and there, but
here's the thing that
like there's a good Wonder Woman.
That settles the argument on New 52 immediately. The whole reason why it was called New 52 was you had a 52 title relaunch of the entire universe. Within the first year of New 52 being around, with the 52 title launch, there were 52 cancellations by the end of the first year.
Yep.
So like I don't think you can ask for a better, hey, here's your sign.
Well, no, Batman ran more than a year. The New 52.
No, Batman was fun, but like that. What you have to realize is that the New 52 was a launch of 52 titles. There were more titles added throughout the year.
Yeah,
and so of the initial 52 that were launched, I think that the only ones that were still running by the time of the end of the first year were like Flash, Batman, Aquaman,
the ones that have always been around, like Action Comics and shit.
Like Superman and Action, but like Wonder Woman got canceled and rebooted
Well, yeah,
you know,
because
that's-
there was one whole entire, like, out of the entire New 52, I think it wasn't even the first run, it was probably the second run in Wonder Woman that was any good, and the rest of it was crap. The rest of it was absolute crap.
so
And even then, I
yeah.
can't even remember it. I just remember thinking that I enjoyed it, so it's forgettable.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I was collecting quite a few of those titles, and then I whittled it down as each book came out. It got worse and worse until it was just Aquaman and Green Lantern stuff. And then after a few issues into that was it. I was like, okay, I'm done. It's not worth collecting anymore. So he's back there either working on his gymnastics career or his pro wrestling career.
You know, a little column A, a little column B.
Either way, he has a high future.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
He's so cute.
Yeah, no, he's a handful today.
Well, the examples you've given him are like superheroes and pro wrestlers. So, good dad.
Fair enough.
There you go.
Yep.
I don't think our newest superhero is child friendly.
Oh, our new superhero is child friendly?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I'd say it's like mature audiences, you know, like teenagers.
I would say the youngest.
I would not give it to your son.
No, not at all. But like I'd say the youngest that I'd feel comfortable having somebody read The Embrace is like 13 to 16.
Yeah,
I would say is a
I'm
pretty
Aussie,
accurate.
So 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what got you? So let's see, Dean, what got you into comic books in the first place, and then what got you into wanting to draw them and make comics?
Comic books. I've always been into comic books and other, like, you know, pop culture related, like cartoons and anime and movies and all that sort of stuff. Like, I've always loved superheroes. I grew up in the 90s, so all of these movies were coming out. I was the target audience for all of them, you know, like I was a teenager when all the superhero movies became popular, etc. But when it really all first started was my dad used to bring home comic books randomly, because in Australia we don't have comic books everywhere, you know. It's not the same as in the US. It's kind of hard to get them depending on where you live. And so my dad would bring home one every now and then from just, he was in the city that day or something like that. And so, you know, I had a small collection until I was about 13. But when I was 13, my best friend at the time handed me Batman Hush 608 or 609, whatever the first issue of Hush was. And that changed everything forever. You know, I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then I actually went out of my way to go to a comic book shop and collect things. Like I had part 1 of City of Clowns of Spawn from when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, and I never knew the end of it. And so when I was a teenager, that was one of the first books I went and found, and I found part 2 of it, and, you know, read the rest of the story. And then I did the same thing for the Death of Superman. And like I grabbed all of Jim Lee's X-Men, and I grabbed got all of Hush as it was brand new coming out every week. And I grabbed Spawn issue 1 right off the rack, you know, like I was a little kid at that time buying comic books. And just from there, it all just spiraled out of there, because I was always drawing anyway, even as a little kid. And then, like, you know, my favorite cartoon was Dragon Ball Z, and then all of a sudden my drawings looked like Dragon Ball Z characters. And then I saw comic books, you know, comic books changed everything and changed the way I drew forever. Like Todd McFarlane, Greg Capullo and that. Mm-hmm. I never drew the same ever again. It changed everything for the rest of my life. And I had, like, even growing up, like I've done tattoos and animation, and like I've always been an artist, but like I always wanted to do comic books. Comic books were always my favorite thing. Even when in my spare time, I would make little short stories and stuff. I'd make a little comic strip or something outside of whatever my job was at the time, even if it was art related. So yeah, it's just always been my childhood dream.
Nice. What about you, Michael?
So comics.
He doesn't even like comics.
Yeah, no. I'm just doing this for Netflix deals potentially. Who knows?
He lost a bet once.
It was a bad day. No, you know, I had 2 older brothers growing up that were into comics and into superheroes and everything. And they got me watching things like, you know, X-Men the animated series, Spider-Man the animated series. That was a big part of my childhood, and it never went away. You know, I would take my allowance and I'd buy I'd buy comics at the 7-Eleven, like
The
the
animated
those
series.
the like back when 7-Eleven would have like the 10 comics for $5 packages and everything like that. They'd all be old back issues from like the 80s and 90s. Yeah,
That's when I
no,
first got into comics, was the spinner rack at 7-Eleven.
Bingo.
Before I
That's the
ever
most I ever got in
saw-
Australia was a spinner rack at 7-Eleven or at the news agency or something. We
Yep.
don't have actual. I've never heard of this bundle. What is this? What?
Yeah, no,
that's
7-Eleven, like at the time that I was growing up, 7-Eleven was at the process where they were starting to phase out the spinner rack. And so what they were trying to do was they were trying to sell as many of the comics as they could. So what ended up happening is they'd take like 5 or 6 just random books, throw them in the bag, put a $5 stamp on them, and you could do that.
Well, yeah, I guess Australia was just, decades behind everyone because we never ended up bundling anything or getting rid of the spinner racks. In fact, that's still one of the only ways to find comic books outside of a comic book shop in the city.
Oh, nice. When I get to Australia again, I gotta make sure to bring like bags and boards and just head down there and
Just go down to the news agency and find the shelves.
Do all the spinner racks squeak?
A lot of them do, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
They
need
do
to.
in my town, like in Craigieburn, where I'm from, they do.
Okay, good. They need to
Yeah.
squeak or it's not a real spinner rack.
Yeah. So they don't know what WD-40 is, so don't tell them. They have to squeak when you spin those things.
Wait, what? WD-40? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we know what WD-40 is.
Oh. Now he wore himself out. Now he ready to go sleep.
Yes,
Oh,
right
he's
before he
not
turned the
asleep.
camera on. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
screaming his head off.
He actually did a backflip into that position right before he turned the camera on.
Yeah. Off the bed.
So
Backflip with a
I-
twist.
I was hearing him going riding his scooter around the house here. So
Oh.
he is mad because I told him no.
Yeah.
How dare you? You can't.
Yeah, I
say
know,
no.
right? I'm a monster.
Oh, Michael.
Oh, you're no fun. Oh. So now you guys are working on the Embrace. So
yes, we are.
how did this come together?
So that's actually a really good story. And so effectively, I know it.
That's what happened. He found me crying like that. He picked me up and said, "I know.
Yeah.
I'll hire you to draw a comic book."
That's exactly how it happened. No,
Did you give you that little dad rub on the back too?
Yep,
You know?
yep.
Yep, there
I
it
was
is.
very
It'll all
silly.
be okay. It'll all be okay.
I want a comic to draw.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what happened. No, I came up with this concept, and I was having a lot of issues getting the script done.
The
I couldn't
concept was a
visualize the
suit
character.
made of ghosts for
Yeah,
the audience listening.
and so I asked Kimasabi if he knew any artists that would be a good fit. I sent him my little pitch of it, and he gave me 2 names. I'd never heard of the other guy, and Dean I had seen in streams and everything, and I had chatted with. Seemed like a good dude, and so I was like, okay, well, I prefer to do business with people that I know I'll get along with. And so I hit Dean up, and we started this dialogue about the Embrace. And he sent me his initial concept sketch, and while I had a few notes, I knew it right then and there. I was like, all right, this is the right fit. And so that's when I brought him on as not only the artist on the book, but I gave him a co-creator credit because I could not write this script until I saw what the character looked like. I was having a lot of issues visualizing him. I was having a lot of issues kind of figuring out how I was going to make his powers work.
The hand powers just came out of the design itself. Like, as soon as he saw the hands over the shoulder and stuff, he just boom ran with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Came back with some incredible stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we still haven't even spoken about in the slightest. Like, we haven't even teased that. And the hands are just the beginning of his powers. Like, that's literally the first power that he uses. And the page on the campaign is actually that time. Like that is the time that he uses it for the first time, you know. So basically, we've kept a lot of the more different and spooky ghost powers have all been kept secret, you know. But he is a ghost themed superhero, so you can imagine the kind of things that we've made him capable of doing.
Melting faces off.
Yeah.
Yes, accurate.
Nice.
Yes.
Raiders of the Lost Ark style.
Gives people a good scare.
Yeah, well, yeah, I bet. He's got like 6 hands. That would freak people out.
Yep.
He's got
Guys-
more than 6.
That
But-
gets him shot. That gets him shot a few times.
I bet.
Oh man, that was a great scene to write.
So how did you guys come up with the design? Was it you mostly, Michael, or was it like a co-creation with you guys coming up with the character design?
The design
So-
was pretty much all me as he was telling me about the story.
Yeah.
Like,
Nice.
Like-
I got
kind
him
of-
to
I
tell
gave him-
me.
I
his
gave him some
idea.
hints on things. Like
Yeah.
I was like, you know, like I would tell him like, okay, so like stylistically, these are the things that I really want to pull from, and like I knew that I kind of wanted the suit to kind of be almost like a symbiote, and that was one of the things that I kept going back to. Was like, it needs to be like slick.
That hyped me up. You know, Venom's my favorite villain, as I said earlier. So,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And so yeah, no, like, but then when it came down to the actually bringing the visual to life, like that was 100% him. Like as I said, when he sent me the initial concept sketch, I think there were like 1 or 2 things that I tweaked.
it was.
But
He gave him the gloves. The gloves were 100% Oden's idea, like the white, like splattered gloves that go up his arms. And I had more spikes. The embrace spikier. And he's like, I really love those spikes on the boots, but can you get rid of the spikes on the arms? I'm like, yeah, man, no worries. And then other than that, it is the exact first sketch scribble that I did while I was getting him to tell me about the idea of the story and everything, because the script wasn't even written at first. We did weeks of just meetings and talking until like it was getting late even for me where I am here, so I don't know what time it was for Oden. But we just
it was like
had
4 or 5 in the morning. Sometimes.
meetings of just going back and forth. As he was writing, I was drawing, and we coming up with different things. And like we came up with the villains and everything. Like all of this stuff just sprouted from this original idea of him saying a suit made of ghosts.
Now, did you
It
make
was a
the,
bit more. It was a bit more detailed than that because
fair. I
always
was
had
the first one who said suit made of ghosts, but you had a lot of emotion and everything, and I just simplified it to that. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that is 100%.
Suit made of ghosts. Done.
Yeah.
I had like the synopsis kind of like I knew what I wanted to have happen with like the base things for like, you know, the backstory of these characters and how they got to this was something that I already had figured out. But the big problem is getting past the hump of, right, I've got the origin, but we like, you know, origin is worth anything without the actual heroism and getting that hero. I couldn't freaking do it. I couldn't visualize the character, and so and in that regard, you know, Dean more than pulled his weight. Like the character looks fantastic, and
Yeah, he does.
Like I'd say within a week of him doing that initial sketch, I had about half of the script written for the first issue, and then. And then within 2 weeks we had the first draft done, and that's when I brought on Kimasabi as the editor, and he looked at it and he was like, "There's not much that needs to be fixed here. We moved around a few things and played with a few structural elements, but like that took what, like 3-4 days."
Yeah,
Wow.
it didn't take long at all.
That brings up a different question. So we always ask the artists. Well, actually, I have a quick side question for James. James, the splatter on the forearms, you're not keeping it like roughly the same on every frame, are you? Like it moves around like a fluid, right?
Yes, it does move around.
Nice, perfect.
Ooh.
Okay,
It isn't.
Nice.
It isn't a set. It isn't a set pattern on his arm at all. It is
Cool.
just. It kind of flows in my head. It's constantly like wiggling around, and the hands would be like tapping their fingers and things, and You know,
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
yeah, like in my
like
head,
it's on his
not
shoulder, just
still.
tapping. Hey,
Yeah, like if he's standing there
Oh.
with his arms crossed, his arms on his shoulders would be tapping their fingers, or like doing the whole all fingers flicking or something like that. Like,
oh, yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
because they're not like, if you think about it, the suit is Clarence and David, but there's more than just Clarence and David's hands, worth of hands on that suit. Like, there's a lot. It's like it's more just like a spooky. It's a symbiote made of spooky ghost hands. There is no better way to describe it. So.
Yeah, the four hands that are the thoracic hands
The
and
main ones,
the shoulder hands. Do those extend, or do they just kind of sit there tickling him all the time? Okay,
They
extend.
They do so. They act as kind of like a defense. I think
there's an image I've shared on Twitter that actually has that. Do you want me to open it up and show you? Because I actually sold that at Shay's auction.
Yes,
and that shows the hands in action. It's perfect. It's perfect.
While you're pulling that up, Oden, we always ask the artist. So, how did you go from reading the comics into like becoming an artist? All right. Well, how did you go from being little little Ogden, to deciding I'm going to try my hand at writing? How did that come out?
So it was a journey of steps. I've always been into, as I said, I've always been into comics and everything, and I've always loved a good story. But where my journey at becoming a professional writer started was I was on my deployment to Qatar, which is not much of a deployment. It's more like a paid vacation in the devil's asshole. You have nothing to do.
Nice.
Getting paid to just sit and fuck off. And so I got really into writing. And I was writing. I got started on a site called Movie Pilot, which used to be an industry news site where, so long, like one of the cool things about it is that anyone could be a movie pilot writer, but if you did good enough and the site noticed you, they'd bring you into their verified creator program, and it would be a way for you to work up and become a paid industry journalist.
Cool.
And so I was just doing it for shits and giggles initially, and then it's funny because Blue mentioned the Superman Rebirth, the Tomasi Jurgens run, and so the second issue of that Tomasi run came out, which was when Superman takes John out and they save the nuclear submarine and everything like that, and it's effectively a superhero take your kid to work day. And I loved it. I absolutely adored it. And so I wrote this piece for Movie Pilot, and I was really happy with it. And so I put it out there, and apparently they were pretty happy with it too, because they actually noticed it. It got one of their editors to kind of spruce up the layout a little bit, and then they posted it to their Facebook page. And it's really funny because initially I thought that some freaking bigwig at freaking Movie Pilot saw my article and wrote pretty much like the same thing, wrote a similar piece because they changed the title slightly. And so like, oh man, some asshole took my idea, because I'm seeing it all around freaking Facebook and everything, and I'm just like, oh, what a dick. And then all of a sudden I go into my Movie Pilot profile, and my profile has jumped to almost 3,000 reads, and I went, how the fuck did that happen? And then I noticed, like, oh, the piece that I've been bitching about for the past like week and a half that I haven't bothered to read is mine. And
wow.
So that's what really started me down. As I started doing more stuff for them. I became a part of their verified creator program, and I got to the last phase before I found out that they wanted me to write clickbait. So then I left. I created my own blogs that I did stuff for a while, and then I got picked up by Heroic Hollywood, and I worked for them for around 2 weeks before I found out, just like with Movie Pilot, all they wanted me to do was regurgitate bullshit and clickbait. So I was like, okay, cool, not doing that, especially when I'm not being paid and you're expecting me to freaking do, like, I think their standard was in a time period of 3 hours, they wanted like 6 pieces or some shit. And I was just like, eat a dick. Um,
Quality
and-
is not a requirement.
no,
Yeah,
dude,
really.
I literally got so mad because like, and this was months, like, actually I think this was about a year after I had quit Heroic. They had it was during the Crisis of Infinite Earth storyline, and they had somebody post up an article for Heroic Hollywood on, you know, the Flash crossover where they had both Grant Gunston and Ezra Miller there to confirm the DC multiverse. And so they have the article with the title, and then you clicked the article, and the title was the one sentence in this thing. It was just one sentence synopsis of Crisis of Infinite Earths, an image, and that was it. That was the entire fucking article, and I lost my shit. I was so angry. And so like I ended up doing Heroic for like 2 weeks, and I got picked up by Up Your Geek. And I didn't really start going into the creative side of things, or at least focusing on the creative side of things, until, you know, I was my ex and I had started a trial separation to kind of try and work on ourselves and hopefully fix things up with our marriage. Obviously, that didn't pan out. But the big thing that, you know, people have been telling me for years, like, why aren't you doing this yourself? Why aren't you doing this yourself? And so I just said, screw it. And I went for it. And that was one of the big things that I did to do self-improvement, and getting into comics is one of those things that, you know, I might not be making gangbusters on it, but it's something that I like. For the most part, I'm not losing anything on what I've made. And it's given me passion. It's given me something that I can be passionate about. I have a job that pays my bills and that allows me to be a responsible adult. And I have this whole other thing that I do that gives me a sense of fulfillment and makes me feel like I'm a worthwhile human being. And so that's how I got into writing comics. Is you know, this very long journey from going from industry journalist, which I still do. You know, I still write for Up Your Geek, and I've done a lot of indie comic reviews for a lot of people that have been putting out books. And it's been a blast doing that. But, you know, comics is, you know, like Dean said, comics has always been the dream, and I'm doing the dream, and we're doing pretty damn well at it, I think.
Yeah.
I like to think so.
Yeah. Well, here's this.
And yeah, I shared the screen too, so
Yeah.
if Blue wants to see that.
Yeah, I was just waiting till Michael was done talking. Here we go.
Yeah, there's all the hands coming out. Those are the 4 hands that are stuck to him. And he's not limited to just those hands either. Like I'll zoom in a little bit so you can...
Yeah. Oh, so he's got more than just the ones that are showing.
Yeah, the 4 that are sticking, like that's that one, and you know that's that one, and
Oh,
those 2
okay.
there. But then, as you see on the page on the campaign, they can just kind of come out of anywhere, you know. So, like, let's say he's tied up, and the only thing that's out is his head. He could have a fist come out of his chin if he really had to.
Oh,
So, yeah. But, and yeah, so those are the spikes we were talking about. Like, he had more of these sort of things, like, you know, like the blades that Batman has on his gauntlets. He had more of those on his arms, and the gloves weren't there at all. So that was really the only change from the original design. And he didn't have a logo yet. We designed the logo specifically. Odin will probably be able to tell you better where that came from, because that was, I asked him specifically, you know, like, does he want it to look like anything? And we kind of mixed logos together.
And so what I ended up doing was I was looking up.
And even then, we've changed it since then. It's more round.
I was looking up some imagery for like goddesses of resurrection and stuff like that. And I can't even remember which one that I ended up finding this for, but it was like it had that star and everything, and then they had hands that were kind of like cupping the star. And so I was like, take the hands out, because I mean we have all the hands.
We have enough hands.
We have enough hands. But like I really liked the idea of like having this kind of star with a streak across it, there, and having that star kind of being where where David's soul resides in the costume.
That actually
where the
lights
costume's
up.
being
Okay.
powered.
It glows at all times.
You push a
Say
little
that
button
again?
in his back.
It glows at all times. Like that
okay, cool.
yeah, like Iron Man's arc reactor, how it's a light in the center of his chest. Yeah, like
Right.
that is essentially where David's soul relies. Like if you were going to try and rip David out of the suit, not saying that's something we've discussed at all, but you would be aiming for that spot.
Yeah, it's like Iron Man. You go for the arc reactor.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really cool. That is an awesome drawing.
Yeah, no, Dean does such
Thanks,
a
man.
great job, and he's actually people were so happy with these pencils that he was doing for the auction that he's like, you know what, I'm going to do all the pencils traditionally from now on the book, and I'm really happy by that because Dean's pencil work is phenomenal.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm still inking digitally and stuff. So, but we put these up. These weren't available for the first month, but they'll be available for the entire second month of the campaign. And yeah, you can buy the original pages from the Embrace.
You want to watch Super?
Nice.
Unfortunately, this sold at Shay's auction, but this is going to be one of the metal cards if we end up getting to the trading cards section stretch goal, which I think that's 10K. I can't remember, but if we end up getting there, this will be one of the cards.
Nice. Who do you have? Do you know who's going to make your metal cards for you?
Yes, Phoenix.
Okay, cool.
Phoenix Animation is our metal guy because metal cards are all the rage these days. They were originally going to just be regular, trading cards, but bring back the 90s. We're going to have holofoil cards and stuff like that. But we've all seen the metal cards. Those things are awesome. Like,
Yeah, they are.
As soon as I saw one, I wanted them, and I told Oden, I was like, "Oh, have you seen these?" And he hadn't seen them. And as soon as he saw them, he said the same thing I did. We've got to get these metal cards instead. And yeah.
If there's a way to do a holofoil on metal, oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, well, they have like mirror finishes and things. Like there are different kinds of metal cards you can get. So we're going to get the shiniest one possible.
Oh, nice. That was awesome.
I believe somebody has something that they'd like to say. What were you trying to say, buddy?
I'm not that.
You want to talk at them?
Yeah.
Hi,
Well, you can just say hi.
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 we can hear you.
Hi.
Here, let me take off my Bluetooth so that he can hear you guys, because I think that he's confused that there are people on the screen and he can't hear them.
Oh, he can't hear us. Okay, that's fair enough. That makes sense.
I had a wireless Bluetooth in, so
Oh.
say
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
James.
Hi.
Can you say thank you for saying hi?
Hi.
That's not what. Okay, we're
Close
doing
enough.
good.
James, do you know who this is in the drawing?
Do you know who that is?
My table is speaking at my house. And my table.
That's your teddy bear.
Yeah.
We need to have a discussion about what teddy bears you have, because that looks nothing like anything that.
Plushie embraces confirmed.
Designed by 6 a.m.
Done. Make it happen. Confirmed.
We need-
Children want this. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
talk to Mark.
Oh goodness.
Well, the last kid I showed a picture of the embrace to, he actually got scared of it. So it's a
Oh,
better reaction.
James used to be terrified of it. He would just go, "Oh, fire!" and then like run away.
Vampire.
Well, you probably showed it to him, Dean, and goes, "Look, and these hands can come out and grab you." And
Yeah.
Ah!
I probably didn't help the situation. Not going to lie.
Do
that's
you want
funny.
to show them those cards again? Is that what you want to do? Because you're grabbing for the cards.
I love those cards by Drew.
oh, neat.
He did a whole bunch
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, we have 5 of them. Here, go on ahead, put them up.
Oh,
And they're being raffled out to
Yeah.
the first 100 backers. I just haven't gotten a chance to do the random number generator bit.
mm.
Yeah, we'll do that live on the stream or something. We'll make a show of it.
Oh, there's another one.
There's a card. Hold it still.
I am a little bit sad.
Nice.
Thank you.
There it is.
I finally got a hold of the printer that we're having do the book. He's been having some issues lately. He ended up busting his foot, so he was in surgery last week.
Oh, is that where he was? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was worried. I was so worried.
I was just like, I was getting really flustered, and then he shot me. Yeah, I'm gonna run the prints here this week. I'm sorry, I broke my foot, and I went,
Well,
oh, now I feel like a jerk. And it's funny because like I think that he and I have like I have just the worst luck of trying to get in touch with him because during the campaign during Pyramid Gambit he was doing all of our like posters and stuff, and
Thanks.
he got
Good
COVID.
one.
So I was trying to find out what was going on with our add-ons and everything.
he's just
and I
got
was
the worst luck.
and I was freaking out.
Wow.
And then he finally gets back to me. He's like, "Hey, man, I'm really sorry. I've had COVID for the past month." And I went, "Oh,
Oh, jeez.
and now I feel like an asshole."
Wow.
Yeah, you just reminded me. Roger has COVID at the moment, so Monday's Comics Mate stream, he's going to be sick but still live.
As best as he can be.
Yeah, so live with COVID, I guess.
Well, since we're talking about it, I'll go to bring up the Indiegogo page for it.
Yeah.
I think we have 2 lessons going on here. One is don't work for Michael Oden or you might come close to death. And 2,
That is not even fair. Dean has not come close to being perilously harmed under my employ.
it just takes a while to make it halfway around the planet. That's all.
It just hasn't got there yet.
I will.
It's on its way.
Dean's only surviving because he lives in the future. That's why.
Yeah.
Hey, nice toss.
He knows everything that's going to happen.
I love how the whole camera fisheye thing makes it look like you just threw him 25 feet.
Yes, he just shot. It's all good. This is how we parent in the Oden household. Please don't send CPS after me. But anyways, no. What was I gonna say? I had something. Go on ahead.
Something, the embrace.
Yes,
Printing.
great.
Oh, printing, right. The holofoil covers.
So what's going on is the printer is printing a few different samples because the way that holofoil works is there's different patterns that you use, and so he's advised me on the patterns that he thinks will be best. He's printing those out, and he'll be sending me videos of them so that we'll put them up on social media. But then what we're gonna do is once the samples get here, we'll do like live on unboxing and what have you. I was trying to get at least the videos in here for tonight's show because I would have loved to get a chance to say thank you to you, Todd, for having us on and show those off. But he hadn't had a chance to run it yet. But so what we'll do is once we have them in hand, they will be raffled off to the next set of backers. I think we'd probably do it at like the first if you get in like the first 200 or something like that or whatever it would be by the time we get them.
Yeah, speaking of backer numbers, we're up to 135 at the moment. And if we get to 150, because Jim O'Reilly did a piece for some of our backers and Oden has done a piece for some of our backers, when we get to 150, I'm going to do something for the 150th backer as well.
Oh, awesome.
Bonus, yeah. We're going crazy with bonuses and stuff like this. You have 2 creators, which means you have 2 guys showering you with gifts for buying our book.
That's awesome. Well, here's your guys' campaign. Like you said, you're up to 135 backers now. That's awesome.
Yeah,
You
killing it.
already made your goal.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Now,
we made our goal in like 3 days or 4 days or something. It
Well,
was
4 days,
awesome.
4 days to fund, and then
that's awesome.
first 30 days we cleared 7K, which is fantastic. It means that so long as we maintain this kind of momentum, we should clear 10, which will be a big first for Nine Realms. We've always come pretty close. I think Pyramid Gambit wrapped up at around 8,300, and then the Zero issue wrapped up at around 8,800.
Yeah.
So, like, we've been hovering right below that 5-figure line, and so to be able to cross it would be phenomenal.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And with each one, you've been going up and up, so that's great.
Yeah, well, Oden has a rep at the moment, as a decent writer, because most of his books come back with good reviews, and any of the issues that have come up haven't really been about his storytelling at all. More often than not, they're like, oh, the color wasn't good on this one, or there was an editing issue here, or something like that. But the story, which is what Oden is responsible for, being the writer, is always solid. And I think people noticed, like, obviously the customers noticed that over time. The fans know who's a decent storyteller and who isn't. And
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when this is your third book now, so this, that many books in, people are learning, decent if you're a good writer, bad writer, by the second book.
Yeah.
And now you're doing your third, and people are saying, your stories are good. So that's always good, and to see campaigns exponentially go up with each campaign is awesome to see too.
Yeah, and the other big thing that I'm very proud of this, and this is something that, like, I have been able to, like, it has literally been a year since I announced Elysian Fields. Like it came up on Facebook here, I think this past week, that, like, the first time I ever made any mention of Elysian Fields was a year ago. And so in that year, I have fulfilled 2 books, launched a third campaign that is successfully funding. And so the big thing that I'm proud about with this is that, you're not only is it going to be like a quality book, because we've gotten the reviews that I think establish that, but you get it on time. I am very proud of sticking to my deadlines, and I know that you can't rush quality and everything. But there are some campaigns where I feel that it's like,
it's too long.
Like if you're a year overdue on when you were supposed to do it, like. That brings in some issues, and that honestly hurts smaller time guys like us, because it will prevent people from looking at our campaigns like, oh, well, if this guy who made X amount isn't able to fulfill on time, and this guy is not even making anywhere near that, like, why would I have any faith in him? So I think that I more so even than the ability as a storyteller, I'm very proud to say that I am a guaranteed thing that at the very least you will get your book, and you will get it more than likely within the time frame that I set.
Yeah, he's actually given us plenty of time too. Like, I'm much faster than the time frame Oden has given me, and he's like, "Yeah, man, take your time, make sure it looks all great. We are more than ahead of schedule." And yeah, the time frame thing is not something that you have to worry about when it comes to us too, because as Oden was just saying, the customers and stuff, like the fans and everyone, have looked at it and said that, you're taking too long, you're doing this, you're doing that. And as first time creators, we're kind of copying the backlash of that. And this is, it's Oden's third book, but it's my first book. So I want to make a good impression, and I'm going to make sure that it comes out like, real quick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of these larger, monetarily larger campaigns, people have noticed the inverse relationship between funds and timing. That the bigger the funds, well, actually, I guess it's not inverse, but anyway, the bigger the funds, the longer the timing. They're also doing, like, or not all of them, but some of them might be doing extra stuff. There's there's many moving parts to those campaigns. Your extra stuff, you guys pretty much have finished. You've got somebody else, not Dean, doing cards, and those are done. But Dean is still working. You guys are a pretty slim, trim organization.
Yeah, I actually have free time at the moment too. Like I still have my commissions open and everything because I don't even need to crunch. Like we have our schedule sorted perfectly, and I'll probably have every page, if not 38 out of 40 pages done by the end of this month.
Yeah, like
Wow, nice.
I honestly believe that.
like
Well,
we're
in Australia, what month? Like in America, they just started April. What month are you in?
we're in April as well, but I'm in 2031.
Okay.
Oh.
and I don't get me wrong. Like I understand, there comes a point when you have those larger campaigns where there are, as Blue said, there are all these moving pieces. And then on top of that, you're talking about massive levels of fulfillment and what have you. And trust me, as somebody that has handled the fulfillment on my last 2 books, and thank God I am not doing it on this one. Critical Blast got a hold of me and was like, "Hey, so let me talk to you." And I went, "Oh, please."
That means
Oh, please,
cheap shipping for international buyers.
shoulders. I hate doing it. It's the worst. I will be getting the books first because as a big, I don't have it listed on here, but as my big thank you to the fans, I've decided that pretty much every single crowdfunding campaign that I do, the big thing that I do for as a thank you to everyone for getting us funded is I sign all the books. It'll likely be on the interior cover because I don't feel comfortable signing over other people's art. As somebody that dabbles in art myself, I just don't like doing that, and I understand that drives some people insane because they're like, "You didn't sign my book." It's like, guarantee you I did. Check the interior cover.
I don't know. Put it on the title cover or something. That's fine. Whatever. Just don't write over the center of the picture. I'm sure, it's still your story.
Yeah, I know, but it's one of those things, man. I'm very
No, I get it. Don't worry.
And so yeah, no, that's always been my thing. But I will be signing all the books. So they'll come to me, I will sign all of them, and then I'm sending all of those freaking things to Critical Blast to deal with. The only one that I'm handling is the international. Because I get better deals doing international the way that I started doing them on this last campaign than I do with him. With the site that I used, I'm able to max that I'll be spending for shipping is $17.
Nice.
Nice.
For international for these books. So that's the big bonus is I only have currently I think we have 20, maybe between 20 and 30 international backers, and I am much more compliant to handle 20, 30 books as opposed to 400.
Yeah.
Fulfilling sucks.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't sign all of the books. I would happily sign a bunch of them, but I can't sign all of them because I live in Australia, and postage to Australia is just a massive pain in the ass. So we're offering a special tier for the Aussies to sign the books as well. It's a little bit more expensive just so you can pay for the postage back and forth. It's 3 sets of postage just to get it to you, so you have to pay a little bit extra to get that done. But we do have a special tier where me, Clayton, and Corey all sign them as well as Oden. But yeah, as I said, you got to pay a little bit extra for that.
They sign the special edition one, and then you get all the other covers as well.
Yeah, it's essentially the featured tier but signed.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a logistical pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nightmare. There are only 10 of them. There are only 10 of them. The postage won't be super bad on mine. It's actually going to be way more expensive when they get sent back to me.
And we have to do it 3 times.
Wow.
It goes from you to me, from me to you, and then from you to whoever bought it.
Yeah. Shipping Critical Blast isn't going to be too expensive. It's 10 books. I could probably get that done. The most I am going to be spending personally for the domestic stuff on that, I think, will be around $20.
And we're just lucky that I live close enough to the Barton boys that I can drive there myself. I don't need to send it to them as well.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the most expensive part of that journey is going to be them being sent back, which is why the shipping on that tier is high. Like I was just like, yeah, I don't even want to risk losing money on that.
Yeah.
Are they just going from the printer to Dean?
No.
So effectively, how it will work is I will have all of the like the only books that are being sent down there are the 10 copies of the special edition for them all to sign. So that
and my personal copy.
Yeah, and like in his the comp copies for the people involved as well.
Yeah. Kimasabi probably gets one too, right?
He will, but like he purchased the book, so like I'll probably just I'll probably just ask him if there's another cover of the book that he'd like, and I'll
right.
Yeah, there you go.
But that being said, so what I'm going to do is I will get there. I will have the those ones I'll probably also personally fulfill, because what I'll probably do is I'll make sure that all of their books are accounted for and ready to go, and then that way the moment I get the 10 books back, I put them into packet. I get their labels on and send them out.
I was just thinking, Kimasabi's probably going to want a blank sketch cover so he can make his own. Yeah.
We're not doing blank sketch covers. I'm sorry to break your heart, Blue. I'm not.
Oh, that's okay. I wouldn't want one. It's just Kimasabi would want one because he'd be like, I'm an artist. I can make my own cover on this thing.
No, Kimasabi does not consider himself an artist, though. Like I've seen his drawings, and he can draw, but he hates them. He just does not like it at all, and he considers himself a writer and not an artist. So
on a scale of 1 to Jim O'Reilly, like how are we talking? Because Jim
he has
O'Reilly,
a completely different style, though. Like he has a completely different style than that. Like his style is very charcoal and dark, and he'll do the whole black page and then rub out the light to make the pictures. So it's a completely different style.
So he does effectively a charcoal Versailles, which is really freaking awesome, and I dig that.
It is. It's really awesome.
But
I really like it.
But what I didn't mean stylistically. I meant in self-hatred. Like
no, he's more at my level. He's more at my level where he can still say that this looks good, but in general he doesn't like them. But none of us are as bad as Jim.
Jim straight up hates his art.
Jim is so easy to bully into drawing something better for you.
I don't even bully. I don't bully. I just ask the cake.
It's so easy. The word bully is
the other day. I did the other day. He was on Twitter and he put up the Gunship Thunder Punch picture that he did. He did some fan art for it. And then he said, he's like, I hate this. And then someone else, it was Justin Dutton, commented underneath it saying it was great. And I said, no, let him hate it because he'll draw something better. And then he came back with something better. So he's incredible. Literally, so if we scroll down a bit, because he's so good. It was only supposed to be a print. His cover was supposed to be a poster for everyone, and it was so good that we just had to make it a cover.
And it is now our top selling item on the campaign. There's
I said that from the start.
43
people.
It's
going to be the best one.
Oh, this one here?
Yeah.
Oh,
the O'Reilly B variant. And that's on top of the people that are already getting it as the one of each tier.
So like what's that, like 70 something people have it because the featured tier is the second most purchased.
Yeah, there it is.
So you see this, all right? He gets me like the rough of it, and it's freaking gorgeous. If I had felt like digging through my Facebook messages, I'd bring up the rough draft that he did, like the rough and the pencils.
That was months ago.
The rough and the pencils that he did, and he just goes, "You can tell your artist that by the time I'm done inking this, he'll understand why I hate my own art." And we got the fucking inks back, and we're just like, Jim, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, no, that looks amazing. Damn.
Yeah.
And then he gets,
Wow.
Sigmund Torre, who worked at Image. Like Sigmund Torre freaking colored Spawn at one point, I think, is what Jim was saying. And so he got Sigmund to freaking color this, and you're just like, well, this can't not be a cover on our freaking book.
Right. Wow.
Like,
Speaking of which, I'm really surprised that you have the Crow homage cover, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's brand new. The reason that hasn't been sold is because that's brand new. That wasn't available until last week.
It was a secret stretch goal that we did. And so effectively, Von Randall did my my black and white cut cover of Elysian Fields, and he's phenomenal. And in fact, that black and white, there it is, special edition B variant.
Yeah, great dude.
And so, as I had said, the Crow is one of the big inspirations for this. And so one of the, I think it was the original cover of the Crow was this beautiful mixed media painting of Eric Draven right after he came out from the ground, and he's kind of feeling his face to make sure that it's real.
He didn't show the name in the book.
Yeah.
Is that one down here too?
Yeah.
So I could get better. Yeah.
And so
it's probably in the
I knew that I wanted to do that as a cover, and so I got Vaughn to do the line work, and then there's an up and comer. I don't know his actual name. I just know his Twitter handle is called Entertainment Madness.
Hey, it's Drew. Hey, Drew.
Drew's in the chat. What's up, man?
I love Drew's version of the Embrace. His whole he did the sketch cards, and he gave him the hands over his shoulders are skeletal. They're almost skeleton hands. I really love it, and that was all him. That was 100% him.
But so there's a fun fact about this cover. So this cover, the colors that you're seeing right now aren't actually the final at all. This is a representation of digitally of what he is doing, because he is right now. He took Vaughn's line work and printed it out and put it on a watercolor and acrylic canvas, and he is painting in mixed media. And so this cover will be that, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to put that piece up on the campaign once it's finished.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And you'll have to race me to buy it. Oden is going to deliberately hold off payment, so I can't just buy it the day that it comes out.
He's all, nope.
I've been
no money
going
for
around,
you.
All of the fan art. I even messaged Drew for any fan art that he did, because he did one as well. But every fan art piece that I know isn't a digital piece, I've been going around and actually buying them for real. I've got Boob Dan's the winning fan art piece hanging on my wall right now.
They're all mine. They're all mine.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it all.
let me showcase, because he sent
there's the piece there.
Today. Let me bring this up, because it's looking incredible. And the level of detail that this guy's bringing to it is absolutely phenomenal. This guy's a huge talent, and here, hold on, let me.
Blue showing the crow that you're inspired.
Yeah,
by.
so this is the cover that we're homaging.
Mm-hmm. This is the cover to the trade paperback from '94 that came out right before the film, and you see if you can see my little magnifier over it. You see here. This is where in the new piece, the Embrace is cradling his child next to the statue instead of
mirrors pose and everything.
Yeah, let me see. Let me switch back and forth here. There it is. So you can see there's the statue, and there he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just shared a screen that is the progress that he's doing on the mixed media.
Ooh, exciting. Beautiful.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, wow, that looks so nice. Wow.
Yeah, that's a real painting, guys.
Yeah, that stuff on the left, I mean, you could tell where it's He's way finished.
Mm-hmm.
Is that sculpted? It looks like sculpting clay. I don't know why.
This guy is just really good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
there's nothing else. Like he is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm really excited. Like the guy is genuinely talented, and it blows my mind because he's kind of going under the radar, and that's honestly one of the things that I love doing with this is, there are so many artists and so many writers and everything like that have a lot of self doubt that pushes them, that keeps them from making their entry into the industry. And that's always been one of the things that I want to do with Nine Realms is give these up and comers a chance to step in. And so getting to work with talent like this, that, yeah, they haven't been discovered, but you look at that freaking quality. And hopefully what this does for him is, obviously he gets paid to do work for us, but then he's also gets his name out there, and, hopefully more and more people will get him attached with books, because this is just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow. Can't wait to see that finished.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. Wow. That's well, while we're talking about it, I'll play the trailer for it so everybody can see it.
It's a teaser trailer.
The
Full
teaser?
trailer coming soon.
The
Full
full
trailer
trailer is coming.
Yep. Okay. I'll go ahead and give it a play here so we can see. Still seeing it like that, that is still an amazing, I mean, man, that is an amazing character design.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
It's
how do you feel seeing that old logo there? This is something that most other people won't even notice. But doesn't it just drive you nuts?
Don't just fucking do not point it out.
Okay, I won't point it out, but I will explain what I'm talking about. Okay, he made a mistake in his first original Embrace logo design, and he didn't even notice it for weeks until I pointed it out. And I thought it was just that was the draft for the logo that he had sent me, and I just didn't have the full proper logo yet. But no. If I didn't point it out, he would have never noticed. And that the original logo with the mistake is the logo used in the teaser trailer. So if he's could find the mistake,
he's like, "So are you ever going to send me this version of it?" I'm like, "I did," and he goes, "Dude, look." And I just, "What are you doing?" And then he circled it and sent me it, and I went,
oh no.
I'm trying to find it in the video. I can't. I'm replaying the little part where the logo shows. I'm going, where is it?
I'll tell you guys in the green room after the stream. I'm not putting it up.
Not point that out in public.
Did you have unnecessary apostrophes or other things we discussed today?
No.
You know what, Blue? If I
that would have been better.
Hire you as my freaking proofreader on Twitter, I'd do that. But it's Twitter. The last thing I'm worrying about is my grammar on a Twitter post, because
that was a funny exchange.
It was really fun.
I love you. It's Twitter, Blue. Stop.
And he had 2 more mistakes in saying that.
Yeah, because I don't care.
That's how much he doesn't care.
That's how much he doesn't.
Twitter.
I have noticed sometimes when you text me, it reads like you're just kind of, shuffling your phone around in your pocket.
Probably because that's what happens. I don't go out of my way.
How many times have you butt texted me? That's the question.
Oh,
This is
probably
actually the
more
first
than I-
time you're meeting. Like, he's never spoken to you before, ever, Blue. This is as far as he knows.
He's all texting you. When did I do that?
When?
Oh.
How did this happen? Oh goodness!
Well, like you were saying, you've got 3 different covers for this. So this is
I
the
guess technically 4.
well,
Yeah, we unlocked the B variant for the
there it
second.
is. Yes, the V variant's now unlocked. So you've got 4 now. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, there was a 4th cover.
Yeah.
But
and
these are the
that
3
B
that I
variant-
saw before the B variant came out.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And that new one automatically got added, even though it's not in the thumbnail. It got added to the one of each tier. So you get.
Okay.
If you got the one of each tier, you already have it, and then if you purchase the one of each tier from now on too, you have that counts into it.
Oh, nice. So the one of each tier now gives you 4 covers instead of 3.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
technically, you get 4 covers and a free book.
Yeah, you're
You get-
already getting 4 covers. That's the thing.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
There's a special.
You get
special
you get the spectral edition
Oh.
as well.
What's the spectral edition, Odin?
The spectral edition. We're going back to the crow. So, as I said, my initial pitch was that I really wanted it to emulate James O'Bare's The Crow. And so, what I really want initially, I was like, I would really like this book to be black and white. And then we got some color in on the designs, and I said, never mind, we'll do color. But then Dean brought up the fantastic idea of what if we had a special limited print run only available on our campaign's feature tiers that they could collect throughout the entirety of the Embrace to give them the black and white edition of the story. And
The spectrum
it's
collection.
and so this is the first of the spectral editions. And the way that the spectral edition works is it's not just like Dean's inked pages with word bubbles on them. No, Dean's going through and adding all the lighting effects and everything like that.
Like the
So
glow
that
from those headlights. That's a great example on the screen right now.
Yeah, all of those things that weren't necessarily in his inks are being added to make sure that you get the noir atmosphere and so that it doesn't just feel like an ash can. It feels like a completely different book. It's a different experience.
Wow.
And so that is what we're going to be doing for that. And so if you the way that it will be is you will only be able to get the spectral edition by purchasing the featured tiers on each of the campaign, and we will only be printing what we need. So every single person that backs a one of each tier, you're getting the spectral edition, and no one else is.
Yeah, it's the
Wow,
ultimate
that's
collector's version of the
Yeah.
Embrace. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
And we
that
won't
is-
be doing them ever again. Like, we'll reprint the Embrace issue 1 in the future with a different cover or something like that, but there will never be reprints of the Spectral edition.
Spectral edition.
You'll have to go on eBay or Amazon or something and try and find them for probably jacked up prices.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a limited edition.
Go to-
Go Sue Squad.
I like comics with Drew's most recent comment. I backed the Embrace, Star Circuit, Cyberfrog Red Planet in the past 6 weeks, and my wife was all like, "What the fuck happened to the check?" Sacrifices need to be made, honey. It's
Classic.
okay.
Yeah. So you guys have got, let's see, you guys also have on the campaign the one of each signed.
Yeah,
You guys have interior art pages.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was recently added to the campaign. That's what we were mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
How I'm doing traditional pencils now.
Because you decided to do traditionals. Yeah.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go. Now you have art pages to sell.
Yeah.
But that's a
then,
picture of inked pages. Like, what you'll be buying is pencils,
Yeah.
not inks.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're
Well,
digitally
one-
inking, right?
Yeah, and once I have once Dean scans a pencil page for me, I'll change that thumbnail so that it reflects that. But I didn't want it to be thumbnailless. And then we have the Dean did
They're too big to scan. I've just been taking photos of them and then putting them on my digital pages. Because they are full size 11 by 17 pages too. Like they are too big for my scanner.
You don't scan them at parts and then assemble them?
No.
Got to get a
I can cut the
scanner now.
Would you want me to cut the pages up? I can do that. Does that sound like a good idea, Oden?
No.
Please don't.
No.
But move on. We have as we established, initially a lot of this stuff was done digitally, and so what we did for that is this is a signed high quality print of the book, signed 1 of 1 by Dean. So you're getting the original art of the main cover of the book, signed by Dean, and it effectively stands in as a piece of digital art that you can frame and hang up and what have you.
Better
Same
than
way,
an NFT, and that way I can delete the file off my computer.
yes, for the love of God,
I have so many of them. Yeah, think about it. Every page is it's 2 or 3 files on my computer, depending on what it is. Because I have the pencils saved as a separate image. I have the Photoshop files where I start inking them. That's a separate file that's all saved. And then you have the colored version and the final page as well, all saved on my computer in separate images. So I would like to get rid of half of that, without actually deleting it from existence.
Yeah, really, that's a lot.
Yeah. And that's for every page.
Oy.
And I'm
Wow.
working on more than one book too, so it's not just the Embrace filling up my computer.
and so this is
Somebody
this
needs to go buy
one-
bigger hard drives.
Yeah.
this tier. It blows me away that nobody has gotten this yet. Because the one thing that I haven't mentioned about all of the original art tiers on this is obviously they all come with a copy of the book as stated in the description. None of them have shipping costs. We're not charging anyone anything for shipping for any of the original art. Clayton Barton, we're having Clayton Barton effectively do the same thing with that cover, where we're doing a high quality print of his traditional line art, and then he is personally signing it 1 of 1.
Oh,
And
wow.
so nobody's
11 by 17 and big board and all that.
and it's only 200. Like it's only 200. I think what was it? On Kemosabi's it was like what 400.
No, it was like 250 or something, but that sold day one. And so we were like, yeah, we'll put Clayton's artwork up for sale too, sure. And we put it up a bit cheaper because we thought it'd be nice. But yeah, Clayton only works digital, so this is the only option when it comes to getting something of Clayton's done.
Right.
Was Chemo's a digital print 101?
Yeah. Chemo's was the exact same, but it was off the company, man. It obviously wasn't of the Embrace.
Wow.
Yeah.
I still got that video open. I've got it paused on the 9 Realms logo, and I'm going, no, there's nothing wrong with this one.
It's not.
Yeah. No, don't give him any more clues. Let him figure it out. But yeah, and this already sold. Sorry, Blue. Blue wanted to buy this, but someone already bought it.
Which one?
I'm hearing muttering under somebody's breath right
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the title page.
You can still buy the Clayton Barton piece.
Yeah, that is still unfinished because I get to work with the guy who bought that. Basically, Oden sold his creator rights to the book, and so now the front page is being created by me and the guy that bought that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the first page of the book, when you open it up with all the credits and everything on it, that will be, he gets to keep the original piece as well as help me decide which direction. Like the thumbnail there was just one of my ideas because I had multiple little thumbnails of what I thought the title page could look like. And then we're going to let him pick which one he likes the most. I will do it traditionally. He gets to keep the original piece and he gets a copy of the book as well. But yeah, Blue was trying to make me not mention that to anyone so that he could get it. And then I didn't mention it to anyone and then it got sold. I'm sorry, man. There was nothing I could do about it.
That's okay.
It got sold by the guy that bought everything in the auction.
yeah, the
Oh.
guy that bought everything at the auction. Yeah, it was one
Yeah.
of those two.
That's
Yeah.
okay. You're keeping me from destroying myself with, what happened to my checking account?
like Drew's wife.
Yeah,
Well,
that
it's
auction
okay.
was a lot of fun
You'll
too.
destroy yourself. We've got plenty of original art, and we have that Clayton Barton thing.
Yeah,
Going ahead.
I'm gonna go talk to Phil Diaz. I'm gonna go buy that piece that he tried to sell at the auction that he didn't sell because he has a piece of the silhouette from the Lost Pages available, and he was gonna sell that at the auction. Yeah, it didn't sell, man, and I was like, I want that so much.
Oh,
so,
it
The
didn't?
silhouette is such a
Yeah.
cool character.
Oh.
How did I must
Yeah.
have
So
I must have been
messaged
using
Phil.
the bathroom. How did I miss that? When
Yeah, I missed it too. I didn't. Oh.
Yeah, Phil said he would throw in a book and everything with it, and I said that was perfect because I hadn't backed it yet, but I'd heard nothing but great things, so I wanted to get my copy of it.
It's
And
good.
then he tried doing that, and yeah, the silhouette was the one that I looked, just by looking at the characters on the front, I wanted
Yeah.
to know more about the silhouette the most. I thought he looked really cool.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
very cool character.
oh my gosh, I was making a
I
joke
love
before, but
both of those books so much. Like the extra book was the extra book was even worth it.
Yes.
Like the small little one that's filled with all the little different character story. Lost Pages is definitely one of the top books that
Speaking
I've
of
backed.
extra books, though, we need to get to that stretch goal for our extra book because we have an awesome extra book that would come. It would either get added to the Embrace as extra pages in every version of it, or it would come as its own separate book, and it's going to be like, I don't know, 15 pages, 20 pages or something. It's only short, but it's going to be
Yes.
awesome, and we need to unlock that because holy shit, I am so excited about that, and it's our last stretch goal.
It's going to be like it. I think that the really fun thing about it is that the end of the first issue of the Embrace is going to be people are going to want more, but people are also going to feel like their emotions have been kicked around like a little puppy.
Yeah, I'm just trying to hurt you. Make no mistake.
So,
No, he came up with the ending just the other day, and then he finished writing the actual ending of the whole story that isn't going to be in issue 1, the actual ending of the Embrace. He's finished writing it. You should have seen how excited he was that it was heartbreaking and horrible and people were going to cry.
I literally sent Dean a message just like, Dean, I'm in tears right now. I've figured it out. I'm writing it. And I'm sending it to you. And I literally just once I finish it, I get like a stream of fucking emojis of just tears. Tears.
It's not okay, man. But yeah, he's excited to make everyone upset with this story. So,
But going back, the stretch goal is a 15-page short story that will be a nice little palate cleanser that show yes, it'll be a bit bittersweet because about what happens to David, but it's a story that takes place while David is still alive, and it's him sneak reading his dad's most prized comic book, The Astonishing Arachne. And
half of the book would actually be the comic book that he's reading.
Yeah,
so that would be what? Oh, this one right here, the 15,000.
It's a 12-page short story. It's going to be really sweet. It's just going to be a fun little thing that'll be like a nice way for people to be like, well, now I feel less like crap at the end of this. But
It kind of gives insight into David as well, because the whole reason the Embrace, not the superhero, like the action of the Embrace, like the reason that they have the ghost and superpowers and all that sort of thing, the reason he looks like a superhero is because David loves superheroes. And so this kind of gives you an insight into why David loves superheroes. And because, when he was alive, he would steal his dad's comic books and things and read them. And so it kind of shows you like just a lighthearted side to the dark world that the Embrace, takes place in.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's sweet.
Yeah, because David is so positive. Don't let the pictures and our description of the story fool you. Like, there's a lot of really lighthearted moments, and it all comes from David just being like, "This is what a superhero does, right, Dad?" You know?
Okay, here's what I
No.
want to see in terms of lighthearted moments is with two things. One, I did remember that, yes, when Phil Diaz came up in the auction, I did have to go to the bathroom, and I thought, I won't be able to afford this guy. I'll see what it is when I get back. And then I got back, and like they'd moved on to someone else. Now I know why. They cut him off because no one was bidding. Okay, next, lighthearted in the embrace. I want to see the hands doing like little, like, you know how kids fiddle with things like they're not behaving well? I want to see the hands, like when he's
Like
interrogating
Nestle's
some gangster in an alley. The hands are over there, like checking things out like a little kid would.
So
Pointing at him.
I will give you a little bit of an insight. Scroll up to the page where he's using his powers for the first time.
Oh
That
yeah.
you-
This looks really cool and dark, but it's actually quite lighthearted and funny.
It is absolutely
This one?
hilarious. This is
Yeah.
probably one of the funniest pages in the book because this whole thing is brought about of this cop walks in on sees them after the transformation and is obviously very creeped the fuck out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it is and like it so this whole thing is driven by David tries to put his hands up in the air to show that he's friendly to the cop, and it scares the fuck out of the cop, and
He
so the
gets
cop
shot.
shoots him. And so that's it. This is the result of that is him grabbing the gun
Yeah.
after being shot, and like it's like that's the kind of stuff that you see from David. That's
Naive young boy. And there's a lot of back and forth on that page of dialogue between Clarence, who is the dad, and David, the son, because they can both talk to each other while they are the embrace. Yeah, like you'll have Clarence's voice, you'll have David's voice, and then when the embrace speaks, he has a different speech bubble entirely as well. But basically, like right there, that's David reaching out. And Clarence has no control over it. David has taken control, and he's like, "I'm going to grab the gun." He's like, "No, don't grab the gun." He's like, "I'm going to grab the gun," and like he reaches out and grabs the gun. You know, and it's actually like it looks really scary and cool and spooky, but it's actually not at all because David is just an innocent, idiotic little child doing stupid things. He just happens to be in the real world with gangsters, and bad guys.
I like how I can't tell if in that lower left panel is he doing hands up or is he waving hello to the cop?
No,
Like,
he's got the gun
don't
in his
answer
hand.
it.
He's got the gun in his hand. Oh,
No,
the little
but
hand.
the little
Yeah,
hand.
like
That's a
you
little
can't
bit
tell
of both.
which one David is doing. You just leave it at that,
Yeah, it's a little bit of
Yeah.
both.
and that's the fun side of it, and that's the part of the embrace that I really like, and that's where while I've taken inspiration from things like the Crow, namely the Crow, this is where it separates because the Crow is revenge fantasy, and the embrace is pure
Justice.
superhero, and
Justice, not revenge.
exactly David is there to save his dad. David is there to allow his dad to get closure on this terrible thing that happened and save him from taking because Clarence is at the beginning of this book is about to take his own life. He's hurting.
You can actually
And so
see
this-
that on one of the preview pages because there's no real context to it. But if you scroll up a little bit, that page there, on the fourth panel, you can see him grabbing David by the shoulder and he's putting something behind him so that David can't see it. And that's actually the gun because he was about to shoot himself before David showed up. And so that's him putting it back behind his, like in his pants and behind him.
He's ashamed of
See. Yeah, he's ashamed of him. You actually see that in the other panel there as well. Like he goes from shock and excitement, like, "Oh my God, David, I can't believe it." And then the very next panel, he looks ashamed of himself because of what David is saying to him. And then it goes to him and you see him hiding the gun and everything before he hugs his son.
and so that's the whole thing is that a very large part of this character is driven by the optimism of this 8-year-old kid who just wants to save his dad. And so that's where this book, I think, really separates itself. Is yes, it's in this dark atmosphere and dark universe, but David is the light, and that's the big
Literally.
thing of the book is
Literally.
It's the big message that I really want to convey in the embrace is that our children are the best parts of ourselves, and Clarence has been without that light, without that presence for however long he's been without it, and that's gotten him lost, and it hurts.
Yeah,
And so
you
the
look at him, he
journey,
hasn't even shaved. Like he looks like shit.
so the whole point of his character journey throughout this story is remembering what it's like to have that light, and the responsibility of protecting that light.
Mhm.
And by the at the end of the day, especially in this first part of the arc, David is the hero of the embrace.
Clarence, nah,
Um,
not so much.
Clarence is our narrative vehicle. But by the end of the story, it's going to be like, at the end of the day, we talk. I know I've talked a lot about different streams about the obsession with deconstruction uh, in modern comics, and this is the story of construction. Clarence has already been deconstructed as far as he can possibly go at the
Yeah, when you
beginning.
first meet him, he's already destroyed.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
so this is all about Clarence finding his way into being a dad again, effectively. And so by the end of this story, it's going to be that Clarence makes the heroic decision. And what that heroic decision will be you'll have to read to find out.
Yeah, and I like one of the things you pointed out, Dean, visually about what's going on with Clarence here. Clarence is the father, right?
Yeah.
Where we see him here. He's not just unshaven and looking like he hasn't slept in quite some time. God, I know
Yeah.
what that's like. It's also that despite the angle in his shoulders, which is usually an indicator of strength, his thin, gaunt look and the positioning just in that one panel, the positioning of his actual the head, like where the head of his humerus is slumped forward on that lower left, the lower left panel there. All of that looks like weakness and emptiness, whereas then you get the superhero trope of being all fulfilled and whatnot, where David really is his strength when they come together.
Thanks, man. I'm glad you noticed that, because that's all deliberate. Like because there are moments when you see flashbacks and things, like you will see moments where David is alive and Clarence has more weight on him. He has his hair brushed and slightly shorter, and he is clean shaven. And you'd notice a very, like, even I tried to, when you first see the flashbacks, because it's more about what happened to David in the first set of flashbacks. I try to keep Clarence as hidden as possible so you don't get a real good look at him. But then there are other moments where you get to see Clarence and David together as father and son when everything was happy and everything. And Clarence looks like a completely different person. He is clearly not eaten right. He has not shaved. He has not brushed his hair or anything in months and months and months. And so I'm glad you noticed that, man. Thank you. Like, yes,
Sure.
that's all. Those are all deliberate choices. Like, I made him skinnier than his like normal Clarence character design. He looks like shit in these panels, and that's on purpose.
Oh, no problem. It
Yeah.
is. It's a good thing to do. I mean, making him not shaven and changing his hair a little bit, that's the easy one. But getting the body posture changed and all that takes a lot more work, because you're almost drawing a different character. You can't just do it out of habit. I mean, anybody can draw Batman and Bruce Wayne both standing up straight, but you've got two totally different moods and modes going on in this guy to work with. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was doing when I was drawing him. I was trying to treat him as a separate character. So I draw Clarence, like past Clarence, and then I draw future Clarence, and then I draw Embrace Clarence, 3 separate characters, and they actually have 3 different builds. Because you probably haven't noticed, like I doubt anyone would have noticed from the images that we have on the campaign, but when the Embrace covers Clarence, he actually gets like a different build entirely. His arms are slightly longer, like he gets really long claw-like fingers and stuff like that. And it's not just, he's got claws at the end of his hands. It's no, his hands are slightly bigger than they should be. His arms are slightly longer than they should be. His shoulders are definitely, like, he gets muscly and stuff out of nowhere. There is a bunch of things that you won't notice until you see like a page with a full shot of his entire body, but then you'll notice, you go, oh right, like his arms are maybe an inch longer than they should be, and he's got these really gangly fingers, and like he's a lot musclier than he was as a just as regular Clarence. And these are all things like that. So I'm glad you're noticing these things, because I've thought a lot about that. And Oden always says it's the crow and haunt and stuff, and like I'm coming in from the artist's perspective, and I'm just like, let's put some spawn and some darkness and other cool looking spooky stuff into it,
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Nice.
thank you for noticing that, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and that part of that too is like what you were saying. It's the symbiote thing, right? Because it's
Yeah,
like it's the symbiote giving him those extra muscles and those extra
Yes,
things
exactly,
like that.
yeah.
And the extra arm length and stuff. That's cool. That's a really cool. That's a really cool thing to even think about. That make his hands a little longer, his hands a little different. Just because it's the symbiote on top of it, just not normal fingers.
Yeah, well, there's a page I finished just now, like just yesterday. I think I finished it, and it is like a full shot of the embrace, like when he first gets the suit done, and like when he first comes out of, he's looking at his own hand, like what the hell, like what the hell's wrong with this? And it's because it is a full body shot. You can actually see what I've done and how I've made him slightly stretched out and stuff. Like that's deliberate. It's not a mistake where it comes to proportions. Oh, he looks kind of creepy and ghost-like, even when he's just standing there doing nothing. And
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I really can't wait for everyone to see that stuff, because there's a lot of things that we've, like a lot of cool ghost-like things that we've added to the embrace that you can't see on any of these example pages that are on the campaign, because they weren't finished at the time, but they were always in the story and always things that we were talking about. Now that they're actually coming to life, we haven't shown anyone yet, so I can't wait for you guys to see that sort of stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And here's something I was wanting to talk about, because Dave Brink was supposed to be here tonight too. We don't know what happened.
He's probably just asleep. Like I didn't hear back.
Yeah, we think he might have fallen asleep because he's in
I think
Europe, so it's like he could have forgotten and fallen asleep, because it's 5 hours. I think it's 5 hours there now ahead of us.
Yeah, no, it's right now it's almost 11 EST. So
Hey, what about?
Hey,
it's
what about-
literally 5 or 6 in the morning.
yeah. So, well, because he's not here, but we were gonna one of the things I saw that I wanted to talk about, which I saw when you guys were talking about this before, is this
Oh yes, Perfect 10 crossover.
this cool crossover print by Russ
Yeah.
Leach.
Russ Leach from
Mhm.
Only Death Can Save Us. If anyone
Yes.
backed that book, they would know. They definitely know who he is, because he's got this great style. But he did a pin-up for anyone that backed both Perfect 10 and the Embrace. And
Russ Leach, Only Death Can Save Us.
yep, that's the guy. Bloody hell, that's awesome.
So he's so good. I started a dialogue with him about a potential upcoming project of something completely unrelated, but like he is a tremendous talent.
Yes, I love his art.
And yeah, basically, if you back the Embrace and Perfect 10, we're going to be working behind the scenes to make, like we'll get all of their names together and everything like that, so we'll know
I actually
both of them.
have that completely recorded. Like it's going to be very simple. I was initially building a spreadsheet, but not enough people were messaging me about it. So what we're doing is Critical Blast has a whole thing set up on how to cross-reference spreadsheets. So we'll just be having him cross-reference the both backer sheets of the Embrace and Perfect 10, and then I'm
That's
handling
easily sorted,
like I'm handling the fulfillment of the pinup on the Embrace.
Awesome.
Because it makes more sense.
Yeah.
So many different backers.
Well, I'd
Which
like to
means
thank
it'll
you
come
guys
with
for
the
doing.
Embrace package, right?
Sorry, go ahead.
That means it will come with the Embrace package, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for doing this kind of thing, because I didn't know anything about Perfect 10 till I saw Oden. I think I saw you on, I can't remember what stream it was, and you showed this. And I was like, oh, what's this? And what's Perfect 10? And how do I get this?
Oh man.
So once I saw that and saw that this print, if you back both, I went to look at Perfect 10 and I went, this looks like a great book too. So I backed that one as well.
Nice. Well, yeah, that's what we were hoping to do.
Yeah.
And that's the whole goal here is, for those of us who are getting into this and are on the lower end on these campaigns as far as like the finances are concerned, you cannot rely on these bigger names to push you. You've got to figure out a way to get your own market and get your own fan base. And one of the best ways that we can do that is working together. Every single one of us has built up established fan bases and has people in our corner that don't necessarily know about the other books that other people are doing. And so what's the best way to tap into that? Well, work together. And Dave is a fantastic creator, and he's a fantastic dude. I'm really proud to call him my friend, and I'm really humbled that he is allowing me, and I'm fine talking about this because we've already talked. He and I have already mentioned it publicly a few times, but he is allowing me to write the mini series for American Bliss, which is the character that's introduced. Yes, Libertitties.
People
I know he's
actually
not
know
here,
her
but-
by Libertitties already. So
I know he's not here, but here we go. Go check out Perfect 10 as well, and check out the Embrace on Indiegogo to get that print. But I was going to scroll over here so people could see the thing that you're working on.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yep,
that's American Bliss, and so I'm Dave is entrusting me with a 5-issue storyline for American Bliss, and I couldn't be happier. This is a character that the moment I saw her, I was like, I want to write.
And another beautiful picture done by Clayton Barton.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
yeah, of course.
Clayton does those
amazing,
really well. And that project's coming along great. We have pretty big announcements coming on for that here soon. If he were here tonight, I would ask him if it was okay, but he's obviously not. I'm not going to make that kind of thing without him.
Not unless Dave was here. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't let you either. I'd be like, nope, that's something you both should be here for.
Yeah. No, 100%. And the whole, but and that's the whole thing is that at the end of the day, we rise together. Rising tide is good for all ships, and
right.
Dave has been an incredible support since I've gotten into the industry, and I like to think that I've pulled my weight in that friendship. Yeah, lovely long hair to pull indeed. But
pull on in love. It's in love.
Yeah. Oh God, your comment.
Well, I forget the comedian's name, but he's a little person or whatever they're called. But yeah, he talks about everybody pulls hair wrong, that they grab like the end of the rope, as it were, and give tugs there. And he's like, no, you got to start your hand on the neck, work your fingers up the base of the neck into the hair on the back there, and grab near the roots.
Oh my God.
And like all the women in the audience went wild at that point.
No, but you're right. You're right, though, Michael. It's great to see creators helping each other like this. Like I said before, when I saw your interview, I can't remember. I wish I could remember whose channel it was on. But you talked about this, and you talked about that crossover print, and that you were then doing this story with him. And I was like, that's when I was like, I didn't know about the Perfect 10. I was like, well, I got to check this out because this sounds amazing. And then if you go over and look, this story, his book looks amazing too. So like I said, I backed both, and I love that kind of crossover between creators here. That can only help, and we need to that would be great to see more of it.
I agree.
And that is definitely like a goal, is like to keep doing stuff like that, because there are so many books that are coming out all the time with similar premises to this, that, the other. There's no reason why people shouldn't be like, hey man, let's do this. Like there's nothing that especially if it's just something as simple as doing a crossover print. That way it's not something that is like you're having to worry about, what about sales of this, that, the other. It doesn't matter. Make it a free print that everyone that backs both campaigns get.
Although, the image on that print has raised some questions, and I've seen people asking about the Embrace Perfect 10 crossover.
I don't think that like Dave and I have talked about it, and we because when he saw the Embrace, he was just like, hey, so any chance that he might be able to cross over with the Genuine Comics properties? And
I like to think of it as this. This is the way I've been putting it in my head, right? Is that the Embrace, the total story of the Embrace, not just issue 1, would last maybe a year or so. So he has a very small window to cross over with other characters as long as he's not like a permanent figure. But sure, why couldn't he meet someone else? That's what I've been saying.
Well, and so this was my whole thing. Is I told him from a narrative standpoint, the only character from Genuine Comics that I think that the Embrace could
American Bliss.
No, that the Embrace could link up with in a narrative sense was
Clarence does need a girlfriend.
He already like the only character that I think that
we got him now, boys.
That the Embrace could cross over with from Genuine Comics is Sleeper Agent, because her whole thing is helping people out. It's helping people out in their dream worlds, right? So like having her being able to cross over through like a metaphysical like dream thing, that could work. And I should have told him that. Like I'm not against it, but like it would have to be something where we got the right story down and right character. Because I'm one of those people where it's like I don't care how awesome it would be to have characters cross over. If it doesn't make sense within the confines of our respective narratives, I'm not going to fucking do it. Because at the end of the day, telling a good story is what's going to get people to to come in outside of obviously the art. And if we don't have a cohesive story, then there's no point. Like cool art's cool art, but like that's not going to do anything for us. We need to be able to be enthusiastic and everything.
Way to suck the fun out of everything, Oden.
Yeah, sorry.
I enjoyed hearing him. I'm weird.
Yeah, this is actually good for us, like logistically speaking as well, because that way we won't get sick of writing. He won't get sick of writing the Embrace. I won't get sick of drawing the Embrace, because after the Embrace 1, we already have it all planned out. Oden's going to move on and do this for a bit, and then he's coming back for the Embrace 2 straight away by the end of this year. And then I'm going to be moving on to Sinner with Kemosabe, and then I'll be coming back for the Embrace 2 as well. So,
yeah, that's always good to do it like that, so you don't get burned out.
Exactly, like that's the plan.
Yeah,
and that's the whole deal. Is that we I am probably going to be I have since.
Although, I think when people get to the end of the Embrace issue 1, they're going to be raging at both of us because we've gone off and done different things before moving into issue 2, just because of it's not a cliffhanger. But the way the first issue ends, it's not a cliffhanger. But holy shit, does it like line up a whole bunch of other stuff that you go, wait a minute, what's happening next? Oh my god, huh? Issue 2 is a completely different story than issue 1. That's going to piss people off for sure.
This is what I will say about the Embrace, is that the main there's
the Embrace is our main event for the year
though. There's the main story, and then there's the epilogue. At the end of I wanted to make sure that the end of the main story, if we weren't going to be able to do any more books, that yes, it sets. Obviously, it's not over, but it is effectively a 3-arc. It is effectively a 3-arc structure and what have you. And then we have an epilogue that is literally in there to just be like, yeah, you want more of this, don't you?
This is going to drive people nuts too. And
that's good though. Always leave them wanting more, so they'll come back.
Yeah, I got co-creator status off Oden because I did a bunch of design things, right? But I did more than just draw pictures, yeah. And when it gets to issue 2, that's when you see a lot of my input start coming in, because he had all of issue 1 sorted. Like he knew the baseline for the story, he knew the backstory and everything for the characters and all that sort of thing. And then when it come down to, what do you want to draw, Dean? And so you get the whole second half of issue 1, and then pretty much all of issue 2 is what I wanted to draw. And then Oden went and wrote it for us. But yeah, so the end of issue 1 is going to drive people nuts, and I know it.
So issue 1 is sad Superman. Issue 2 is let's see, Spawn. Weird.
What would be a good way to Like,
I don't know how to. The
I-
best way I can think of it is Spawn issue, not Spawn issue 1. The Embrace issue 1 is Alien, and the Embrace issue 2 is Aliens. That's the best way I can describe it. Is because it's like, yeah, it's the same thing, but wow, is it just way more ridiculous and explosive and like, you know, like the background of the Embrace is a sad story, but the superhero himself is not a sad character. And you get to see a lot more of that in issue 2 than you do in issue 1.
Nice.
Yeah.
By the way, Oden, I think you're echoing.
Someone is.
I don't think it's me. I put myself on mute and it didn't affect anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hear an echo. So is it me?
Is it?
I don't know. I've never echoed before, so that's funny.
You're not echoing. Maybe it
okay.
is you because you're not echoing.
Huh. That's weird.
That is weird.
Yeah. Well,
Try
so get the Embrace and get Perfect 10, so you'll get the crossover picture, and then you'll get Oden writing Embrace and doing the short story for the Perfect 10 setup as well.
So to be clear, I am not the one that wrote the Powertrip story. That one is done by Dave. We are doing a full-on story.
Yeah, there it is. Yep.
Will have its own campaign and everything. Here, hopefully by the end of the year.
Oh, okay. It's going to be a whole separate campaign. Okay.
Yeah, no, like it's
Awesome.
like I have the first issue that's 25 pages written for for American.
That echo is making it hard to understand you, Oden.
Yeah. Okay. But so you want to back both of these comics, so that both these projects, so you'll get that crossover image, the crossover picture drawn by the awesome Russ Leach, and then you're going to be writing the story for American Bliss right here for the next campaign.
Yes.
Okay. There we go. So yeah, back both of these to get this, which that looks so awesome. Man,
Yes, it does.
I love Russ Leach. He's so good.
Hell yeah.
And then after they back it, they just have to go and message you via Indiegogo, message you on the Embrace campaign to say, I did both, here are my backer numbers, right?
That's not even necessary anymore because we weren't having enough. That we weren't having enough people do it. So what we're doing is that Critical Blast has a way for him to cross-reference spreadsheets. So we're just going to I'm going to get the backer data from Perfect 10, send it straight to him. So I'm not going to look at it and send him the Embrace backer data, and then he will let me know how many of those prints.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, this just looks awesome. So yeah, I had to back both of them.
Thank you.
Because you
I appreciate it, Todd.
show me Russ Leach and I'll buy it. He's so good.
And that's the other thing is it's a three-way selling point. It's like you got two different campaigns, and then you have an artist like Russ doing something like this, and Only Death Can Save Us is freaking incredible.
Oh yeah, it was. I was telling him when I talked to him not long ago, I was like, man, that was a great book. And then that ending, what? So go also back Russ's book, Only Death Can Save Us, because it is an awesome read and awesome art.
And I'm fairly certain it's hyperlinked on the Embrace campaign as well. I made sure to hyperlink everybody.
Oh, okay, good.
So you should be able to go find his campaign.
Yeah, and like I said, Dave Brink was supposed to be here tonight, so for Perfect 10. So that's why we're talking about this, because we were going to have all of you guys on. But I hope you just fell asleep and nothing happened. So, but we'll try to get him back on sometime later to talk about his project.
Yeah.
So I think we'll go ahead and we're coming up on 2 hours now. So I think we'll go ahead and end it here for tonight. And thanks everybody for joining us for another episode of Creator Truth. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.